So have you ever had an experience where you walked away and you realized, you know what, that didn't turn out the way I thought it would? And then you start thinking about it over and over and over, and you come up with these crazy opinions, and then you realize that this opinion is dangerous. Well, today I'm going to talk to you briefly about a short story about a guy having a conversation with Jesus. And if you read it, it's a dangerous opinion because he didn't approach things the right way. And when he walked away from the situation, he was sorrowful. So what am I talking about? Well, today I'm talking about the story with the young ruler with Jesus, and it's in Luke, the 18th chapter. And I'm only going to read the 18th to the 23rd verse. And it says, and a certain ruler asked him, this guy asked Jesus, he said, "Good master, what shall I do to inherit eternal life?" And Jesus said unto him, "Why callest thou me good? None is good save one, that is God." Jesus says, "Thou knowest the commandments. Do not commit adultery. Do not kill. Do not steal. Do not bear false witness. Honor your mother and your father." And the guy said, "All these I have kept from my youth up." Now, when Jesus heard these things, he said unto him, "Yet lackest thou one thing. Sell all that thou hast and distribute unto the poor, and thou shalt have treasure in heaven, and come follow me." And when he, the guy, heard this, he was very sorrowful, for he was rich. Oh my goodness. So let me give you some background here. So before this guy comes up and has this conversation with Jesus, Jesus is actually teaching about a couple things. Number one, he was teaching about the persistent widow. He was talking about you should always pray. And then Jesus gave a parable about the Pharisees and a tax collector. And he was talking about how you need to make sure that you see your self-righteousness, because the Pharisees, they didn't see their self-righteousness. And then Jesus had a little episode to where some people were trying to bring the children to Jesus for Jesus to bless them. And the disciples stepped up and said, "No, keep these children away." And Jesus said, "No, let the children come, because the way the children are coming, that's the way that we need to come in order to inherit the kingdom of God." And all of a sudden, this guy, this young ruler, is sitting on the sidelines, and he sees all this going on, but he has an opinion. And his opinion is about Jesus. And his opinion starts by saying, "Good master." I love what John 7:24 says. It says, "Judge not according to thy appearance, but judge righteous judgment." And that's what Jesus was trying to get the guy to do first. Jesus wanted the guy to not call him good master. Jesus wanted the guy to see himself first. And you know what? We have a very dangerous opinion when we just see other people and we don't see ourselves first. You know, sometimes we have an incident, we have an experience, we have something happen to us, and the first thing that we can come up with is, why did they do that? How are they, right? We're all focused on them, and we never really focus on ourselves. That's a dangerous opinion. You see, it's easy for us to have an opinion about what someone said to us, what someone did to us, and why they did it. But do we have an opinion about ourselves? Listen, I want to share with you 3 reasons why this type of opinion is dangerous. Because this guy had an opinion about Jesus. He thought he knew Jesus, but he wanted Jesus to confirm him. And when Jesus gave him some insight into what he thought he was doing, he interrupted Jesus and said, "Hey, I've been doing all these things since I was young." And when Jesus told him, but you're lacking one thing, that's when the guy got sorrowful. You see, when we see the opinions that we have about people and we don't have them about ourselves, and then we hear the truth, guess what? We should be sorrowful. Here are 3 reasons why this type of opinion is dangerous. Number one, it damages and destroys relationships. I promise you, when you have opinions about other people and you don't release those opinions, when you don't allow those opinions to just dissolve, you're going to damage relationships, and eventually you're going to destroy them. You know why? Because at some point, you're going to interact with someone just like that again. And the most important thing is, it's not about them, it's about you. You know why? Because you are the common denominator. You see, I am the common denominator. If I don't change my opinion about an experience that I've had and the people that I've had it with, guess what? I'm going to have that same experience again. Because the common denominator is not them. The common denominator is myself. So what I need to do is look at my opinion about myself and actually what do I need? That's why those opinions are very, very dangerous. So number one, it damages and destroys relationships. Number two, it actually keeps you blinded by the biases and stereotypes that we have. You know, if you have an experience with someone and all of a sudden you can't see yourself and what you brought to the table, and all of a sudden every time you have an experience, you're going to think, guess what? That's coming, that's going to happen again, because we're blinded. You know, recently I did some training on workplace diversity. And I had a participant in the room. Halfway through the session, I was getting them to give me feedback about what they think they've learned so far. And he gave me some awesome feedback. You know what he said? He said, Dr. Jones, to be honest with you, I was really pissed that I had to be at this training this morning, because I've been in some diversity trainings before, and just my past experiences about the subject and how someone taught it and their language. He said, I was like, I don't want to go to another diversity training again. He said, but when I came in here and some of the things that you had going on and you was getting our feedback about what we wanted to learn and the way you've been framing, talking about diversity and inclusion, he said, I realized that in my experience, I had diversity and inclusion in this little box. But listening to you talk about it today, you have opened my entire world. But you know what I was doing with what I was talking about? I was letting him see the biases and stereotypes that we all have. And again, once we become aware of that, we can change it. But when we sit back and say, you know what? This is my opinion, and this is what I think, and this is how I think it'll always be, and people will never change. The only thing we're saying is that we're blinded by our biases and our stereotypes. That's why those types of opinions are dangerous. And then last but not least, those type of opinions, they limit your opportunities. I promise you, there are some people out there who want to work with you, who want to serve you, who want to network with you, but they'll never be able to do it. Why? Because we keep some opinions. We're blinded by our biases and our stereotypes. And then guess what? We don't recognize that we're connected to other opportunities, and we will not even recommend or pass people on because of how we feel. And you know how we feel? It's based on our opinions. Listen, I'm all about creating new opportunities, doing something new so I can have new beliefs about different things, and more importantly, about people. That's what Jesus was trying to get this guy to understand. Jesus was trying to get this guy to understand that, you know what? You think you have success, but the success you have is really not success. Why? Because it's based on what you think you've been doing and what you think your efforts have been doing. And some of us are like that. We think where we are is because of ourselves and what we've been doing. And all of a sudden, a great teacher, Jesus, shows up to show this guy the way, to tell this guy that if you follow me, you think you have riches now? Man, I'm going to show you what riches are in heaven. And that's what he wants for us. But you know what? When we're not even open to it, we're not open because of these dangerous opinions that we have. These opinions we have about other people. We don't know their life story. We don't know what they've been going through. We don't know what they have been through. And we don't even know why people do what they do. But you know what we focus on? Our opinions. And this is what I think, and since I think it, it must be right. But Jesus needs to do us the way he did him. He wants us to challenge our opinions. And he wants us to step back and recognize that, you know what? You have some biases and you have some stereotypes. And you know what? You have been destroying your relationships and your network. And you know what? You're also limiting your opportunities. But Jesus, like he told him, he's telling us today, hey, get rid of everything that you have. Give it all the way to the poor. Have treasure in heaven and come follow me. Now, what does that mean? Jesus is the way. He's the truth. When we hear the truth speaking directly to us, why don't we be open to hearing it and allowing that truth to really rat out our opinions and let that be the case for the rest of our lives? That's what I want to do in my work. And I promise you, I'm excited about what I'm doing, and I'm excited about it because I know God is doing it in me, because it's not about me. And you know what? It's not about you. So let us all recognize these dangerous opinions that we have about other people, but more importantly, these dangerous opinions that we have about ourselves. And you know what that dangerous opinion is? I don't need anyone, and it's all about me. So I hope that's not you today, but I hope that this video is going to help someone to see themselves and to see that we all need the truth. You know why? Because the truth makes all of us free for those who accept it. I hope this has been helpful for you. It's been helpful for me because every time I do a video, I'm talking about some things. Everything that I'm talking about, not only is it helping you, but it's also helping me. Look forward to seeing you on the next one. See you soon.